Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow, and today we're going to be talking about Cardano's price. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin's price. I'm going to announce the launch of Wargram, believe it or not. We finally got everything ready to go. There's a link in the description you can click. We're going to launch here in a few days, and I'm going to explain more about that. It's a really big deal to me. It's a big deal for the development of Wargram. Just a lot going on, so we're going to talk about that. Also, I'm going to explain to you why this particular wallet is going to be the wallet you must use. Like all there is to it. This is the only wallet that you're going to be able to access Dust tokens and utilize Dust tokens for transactions on midnight. Not to say it won't be the only one in the not so distant future maybe, I don't know, but I know it's the only wallet that has everything ready to go right now. So I'm going to be sharing details on that as well. So yeah, make sure you watch this through to the end. I've got some leaks that I'm also going to be showing you related to this wallet that I think you're definitely going to like to see. So let's go ahead and start diving into what we're going to be talking about here, because I'm a little frustrated this morning because I'm looking at Bitcoin's price. I was not expecting this big bullish rally so early in the morning. And what I'm hoping is that this is going to set the high of the local range here, sitting at around 115,432. We're up a bit. I actually closed a long trade that I was in, and I closed it with a little bit of profit, but I closed the long trade I was in because ultimately I do think we are going to go lower, and I do think we're going to go lower than this 114,061. But if I'm looking at what's happening, there's a lot of liquidations available up here. I mean, there's a lot of liquidity sitting there, and there's not that much to the downside. You can see one of the largest clumps here is around 399 orders. That's at about $112,000 Bitcoin. So it could be very likely that we go up and we clear out some of this first, which actually sucks for me because I'm not in a position at the moment. And the thing of it is, and the thing that sucks about a lot of this is the higher the expectation, the more people that think something's going to happen, it's more likely the opposite does. The market makers love to do that to everybody. They don't want to make anything predictable, right? And so once they're on to what the predictability is of their methods of what they're doing, they tend to switch it up and throw you off. But at the same time, by price moving up here into the the mid 115s, even as high as 116, it's going to create more liquidity to the downside. And then I think that's when we're probably, and I don't know exactly when, but they're going to clear out some of this. They're going to use some of that capital, and they're going to use it to play the markets to the downside, because we should get more liquidity forming up down here to start building some momentum to clear these out for lower lows. And the thing of it is, I actually think there's some potential. This is basically 110,000. And I do think some of the liquidity here is going to strengthen over time if we do get a little bit of a run up. Now, we have been getting that run up. Do we reverse sooner than later? I really don't know what to expect at this point, so I'm kind of waiting to see what happens. But we do have some, and we've got some liquidity sitting there. But I think that the market makers are likely wanting to strengthen this to build their play before they start setting the price even lower. And I think ultimately there is some potential for the price to get into the low 100,000s on Bitcoin. And I really do want to try and catch that with a long, if at all possible. And the thing is, I also, I've been learning a lot from Annie and Trade Travel Chill. I'm going to show you some of that stuff as well here. But you can see this here was the CME futures gap. This rectangle here, and everybody has kept asking me, why are you so hung up on the CME futures? Why do you expect this to fill? What do you expect to happen? And and I'm thinking to myself, well, because this generally does fill, and these CME futures gaps are very predictive in a way. they don't happen overnight generally. And obviously, the further down they are, the longer it takes, because the market makers have to move the price, gather, take out liquidity to fund their movement from there, and then continue moving lower or higher, depending on where that gap is. And so it's interesting to see that this finally, I mean, we started to wick below or wick into it at one point back here. This is a 4-hour chart. We started to wick into it, and these vector candles were so substantial. I'm like, there's no way we're not going to clean this out. We're going to clean this out. And I think and I even told my wife, I've told other people, I think not only are we going to get through it, but we're going to close down here somewhere. And we did wick through it. We had some candle body into the bottom of that. And you can see this was all the way, actually, this was a little bit lower. I mean, it was almost perfect. And it took some time, and it took a couple attempts to really get through the whole thing, but we finally did, and we've recovered. And so from here, you can see there's a lot of bearish liquidity sitting down here. This is 108,620. There's even more down here at 105,445. And then once you get below that, it starts turning dramatically bullish. And so I do think that there's some likelihood that we come down further. We've got some huge, we have these fair value gaps down here that are generally magnets for the price action to hit there. I'm trying to find my tool here. Yeah. So we've got a huge fair value gap here. And I think there's some potential for this to fill, but I just don't think it's going to happen very quickly. And I think overall, the month of August, if we can start the month of August filling some of these fair value gaps and closing these, then I guess we could get some pretty solid momentum to the upside and potentially close August in the green. Everybody's basically looking at what's happened with August in previous cycles and previous months. Generally, a post-halving August is pretty good. But we're anything could happen. I mean, that's the thing. And if there's one thing that I've been learning, extremely well in this market cycle is the law of probabilities rule everything. But you can see even, we're still chasing down this liquidity up here at 115,476. I think we're probably going to get there, but you can also see that some of the other orders are starting to thin out. People are starting to pool their orders and take their losses early rather than let their stop losses hit. Or they're just saying, hey, I'm not going to wait for the price to come up here and take me out. So that's an interesting tell of what's going on. Looking at price action on Bitcoin on a 15-minute candle, I'm looking at this as a W with the first rise up, which means, generally we're going to get two. You can see my flux charts indicator has triggered, and it triggered all the way back here, and it basically set the take profits. The third take profit of the flux chart indicator is around 116.6. This could potentially be where we get a reversal and start working our way down once the market makers have established enough liquidity to merit the move. And, generally with these three rises, when we get these M's or these W's, generally it's either three rises or three drops or over a period of 3 days. And then they typically reverse. We're looking at the first rise here with these green vector candles. And then once we start getting to I'm going to say the second take profit, which is around 116,265. And again, these are flux chart take profit points. Generally, when I see flux charts trigger a move, the first and second take profits hit more often than not. The third, almost the same with the market maker method I've been learning. Generally, when we get an M or a W, the first and second rise or drop generally happen. The third is never guaranteed, but depending on the momentum and the movement of the market, we could get that second or third drop or rise and then potentially an extension as well. So that third rise or drop is generally up in the air, but if you get it, then it's a matter of, do we get an extension on that? And a lot of that is based on the liquidity, what's happening in the market, and the momentum and speed and volume and a lot of other things associated with that. So that's what we're looking at right now. And it looks like we're probably going to continue moving up a bit more. But I think over the month, I'm just going to try and be patient. I'm not in a long entry right now. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to let some of this stuff flush out. I'm not going to trade these little micro environments here, because I do believe that we are likely going to go a little bit lower over the next week or two. And, you know, once we break down through a lot of this, that will be my point to start moving. You can see here, this is on a 4-hour candle. We got what Annie loves to call the half Batman, which I actually love this. And, you know, according to the method here, the price is basically not going to be considered bullish until we break above this red line and we conclude the Batman symbol, the Batman ears, and start moving further to the upside. And we are so low below this, and we have this descending pattern here. This movement is just continuing to go lower, go lower, go lower. And now we got such a substantial drop where we came all the way down to 111,976. Many would love to believe that's the bottom. I would love to believe that's the bottom, but I just don't necessarily think that's the case. And you can see here we got this vector candle to the upside, even on a 4-hour candle. So, you know, this could maybe, does this shape a V recovery, you know, moving to the upside? Possibly. But even if it does, this will definitely act as resistance here. And, you know, let's just say it takes a little while to get there. The resistance is definitely going to be, let's see, this takes us to around the 6th of August. That would put resistance at somewhere around 118,000. That could be the next point where maybe we bounce off of that and get our next leg down into the much lower 100,000s. And then we clean up all the liquidity sitting around down there that's accumulated between now and then we get our major reversal, and hopefully we can start into the 2nd or 3rd week of August to the bullish, and maybe we can turn the month green. But that's basically what we're looking at. Now, looking at Cardano, you know, the last video I think I did, you know, I was explaining how I think that the 70 cents mark, you know, basically the middle of this region here, this area was probably going to be, you know, a turnover, like a good entry point. I was telling a lot of my friends and a lot of people that I know, I'm like, keep an eye on this. Once it hits 70 cents, it's probably going to be a pretty solid entry. And lo and behold, it hit right at about 68 cents on the low, and then started to recover. And now here we are, we're already back to 75 cents. That's pretty bullish to me. And the thing of it is even though Bitcoin was moving down, right? I mean, it's been moving down substantially. Cardano, while a lot of the other coins out there were really dropping steadily, Cardano is doing a pretty significant job at holding its own. It was not dropping nearly as much as others out there, and its recovery is already much stronger than a lot of the other altcoins out there. I see a lot of the big, well, you know what? I hate doing this. I hate calling stuff like this out, but let's just say I see a lot of the big name influencers that are promoting another chain like incessantly, trying to do everything they can to spark some rallies in their favorite token, and it's just falling on deaf ears. I think people know, like people are, yeah, I mean, people know. I mean, Cardano is just, it really is starting to take over in a lot of the price action and the momentum of the market. And I think it's going to continue being bullish. Even if we get a low, you know, the low end of the 100,000s range, which I'm not really convinced we're going to get that low. I almost hope we don't. But if we did, it will ultimately be very, very healthy moving further into this market cycle. And so I'm pretty excited about where we're at. The only thing I'm not excited about is I really want to see, and my contention was once we hit 70 cents and we start to recover from that, my hope and my contention was that we are likely going to start breaking through to $1. But I don't necessarily see that happening until Bitcoin's price gets established, breaks through some of these newer lows, clears out the liquidity there, and we get a confirmed reversal to the upside, and we can break through that half Batman on a 4-hour candle. But that's a ways to go. I mean, this was 122,000. So we want to break 122,000 for me to really feel confident. Or even, hell, for me, even breaking over 121,000 would be solid. But just breaking this pattern, this descending channel downward, I would love to just see us break that before I can really start feeling bullish again. And I don't really think that's going to happen until we come down into the lower. I want to see us break under this 111,000. I mean, it's very possible we could get to $100,000 Bitcoin. And the reality is that even if we did that, let's take a look at that real quick, because even if we did that, we're not, it's a very small correction. That alone, from the peak of this area here, from 123,200 down to the local low, that's only a 9% drop, folks. This is what's so dramatically different about this market cycle, is that I feel like a lot of the euphoria is missing from the cycle, which makes everything feel like it's taking substantially longer. And just everything seems to move in very controlled manner. And so it feels like it's all dragging out. We're not getting these crazy spikes into the atmosphere, and then these significant drops of 40%. The institutions are controlling this market hand over foot, man. The retail market is not controlling this. There are a lot of retail traders, and there are a lot of retail investors who've entered the market. Some of them have entered in 2017, 2018, ever since the inception of Cardano. Like a lot of people who have accumulated Cardano in the previous market cycle, buying it at 2 cents, they didn't sell at $3. They're still holding it. And if you look at those ratios, if you look at those numbers, a lot of people are still holding. They didn't even know enough about the market cycles to get out or to exit their positions. And so think about it. They've also been staking the entire time, making a strong passive yield all this time, and they're just not selling yet. And I'm sure that most of them are not going to sell until the prices either at least got back to where they entered. Many of them entered, $2, $3, right? I mean, because that's what retail FOMO does to people. They buy in towards the peaks. And so they're waiting for that. Some of them may, take some of their position back out once we reach some of those new, or once we reach back to like the $3.30. But I do believe that those who really, truly believe in it, and they see everything that's happening with Cardano lately, those people are going to be holding strong until we see $5, $6, $7, $8. And a lot of that is going to be relevant to where we are in the market cycle, what Bitcoin has done at the time. Where is Ethereum? Is Ethereum breaking new all-time highs? Have we broken above the $4,000? $4,000 to Ethereum is like $1 to Cardano, right? It's like I would say maybe like $1.30, right? I mean, because that is such an emotional trigger point for people. Because, $1.33 was Cardano's very first cycle high. That was its like all-time high back in 2017 into 2018. And so when we see that, that's like an emotional level. And once we break that, then getting to $3, I think, is going to be much, much easier. And I've covered a lot of the price action in the past where I've shown just how dramatically Cardano's price increases in very short periods of time. So, yeah, I'm very excited about where we are with Cardano. Everything that I was basically saying has come to fruition already. But you can see we're also just sitting real pretty on this moving average, which may act as resistance for us until Bitcoin does what it's going to do and we get some confirmations that we're out of this kind of bearish mode mentality. So we may bounce. We may bounce around up in here for a little while Bitcoin's figuring itself out, and then we'll get a significant breakout. And I do believe at that point we break $1. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you guys know that Wargram, the trading card game that we've been working on for quite a while, is about to launch. And I want to make this abundantly clear. This is basically going to be an alpha, okay? But we have such significant plans for this game, and I've so badly have been wanting to build something that is going to bring people together, bring some competition, bring some fun to the Cardano blockchain, things that we're just not used to seeing. And we're kind of going for broke with this. What we're doing is, you can see we've partnered with Yepple.io to handle our mint. The mint goes live in 2 days, 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 53 seconds. The sale has not yet started. You can join our Discord server and start getting involved, but you're basically going to be able to mint these booster packs and start building your decks. And the way we're doing this is we're all the cards that you mint are going to be playable in the game immediately. Okay. And what we're doing is we have special goals that we're trying to reach, because we need this mint to generate enough revenue for us to continue developing and building the game further. And so every time we meet a milestone, that's ultimately going to help us further the development of Wargram and get it to where we originally planned it to be. I want people fighting for land. I want people being able to compete against one another to control different land areas. Those land areas are going to generate NFT resources, different metals, different woods, things like that, things that you need to combine to create new legendary items and gear for your decks. And so that's coming, but we definitely need your support. And honestly, the card art, everything about this game is going to be fire. I'm telling you, this is going to be really exciting, and it's going to continue getting better and better and better as we continue moving forward. I'm hoping that the Cardano community really supports this game, because I didn't go after public funding at all. We didn't do anything with Project Catalyst. We didn't do anything with the Treasury. We didn't do any of that stuff. I'm like the 6th largest D-rep in the Cardano community, and I didn't submit a proposal to try and use that to get me money. Okay. I'm hoping that the community sees what we're trying to build and really plays a role in supporting the game. So I encourage you, bookmark it, wargram.io. There's a link down in the description of this video where you're going to be able to mint these booster packs directly. I wish you guys all luck. There are rares, there are commons, uncommons, and we basically have a system right now where you can build as many decks as you want, but we've got 2 primary commanders that we're launching the game with, that are basically, one is of the Survivor faction, the other is the Reborn faction. And there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out. So I really do appreciate it. And I know that this is basically set to launch at the beginning of Rare Evo. And my lead architect, Eli, is going to be out at Rare Evo. And, he's going to be talking to everybody about it and things like that. I'm unfortunately not going to be at Rare Evo this season. I would have loved to have gone, man. But just when they moved this thing to Vegas, I'm like, Vegas is just too much. It's just too much. It's such a long flight, and it's just difficult. I'm like, listen, let's figure something out and bring something back to Miami. How about that? Let's do something even in like Sarasota, Tampa. Let's do something here, in these neck of the woods, and I'll be there without fail, and I'll even help organize the damn thing. Let's just get something closer to Florida. So that is that. And if you want to know more about Rare Evo, just go to rareevo.io. You can get your tickets. I was looking through just to get an update on a lot of the speakers and a lot of the people going. Unfortunately, my little pretty face isn't up there. I really like Navjit Dhaliwal. I really like talking to him. I don't know if you guys ever saw that interview that I did with him about Iagon. And I know that the Cyclones are getting ready to launch too. And I'm super excited about that thing, because I want to hook up with Seth with Mind Your Biz, because I know that he's excited about those, and he wants to just put them to the test and see what all he can do with them. I want to see, like, how easy can you set up a Cardano node or a Midnight node with one of these Cyclones. I think that's going to be a really big deal. Hey, Angel, you live in Sarasota. You're like 45 minutes from me. That's pretty cool. So the Lace Wallet, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cover some stuff about the Lace Wallet. This is stuff you need to know, because the Lace Wallet is about to blow your socks off, and there's a lot of stuff happening with the Lace wallet. I've been actually lucky enough to get a little bit of sponsorship support from Lace. I never thought there'd be a day that anybody from IOHK or anybody associated with IOHK would do anything to take care of some of us old school OG Cardano guys. But lo and behold, they're like, you know what? We want to support what you do. We appreciate everything. And by the way, here's some bombs you can drop on your viewers. So I'm like, absolutely. I'm happy to do so. Give me the alpha. So we're going to talk about some of this because they sent me this PDF. And, we're going to cover some basics here, but there's some things that I want to cover right off the jump. I don't want anybody to get impatient. There's about 800 of you live right now. I don't want anybody to get impatient. So I'm going to hit you with the meat and potatoes first, and then we're going to cover some of this other stuff. One of the biggest things about this is, where is it at? Exclusive dust access. So at launch, no other wallet supports dust generation or use. Lace is the only gateway. Okay. So this is major because everybody that is, everybody's excited about the midnight airdrop and, accumulating dust. And, a lot of people I know, especially a lot of big whales, are expecting to get a lot of midnight tokens. And night tokens' only real use right now is to create dust. And dust is going to be what's used to handle transaction fees on the midnight chain. And all of that. So, but you're not going to be able to use dust tokens unless you're using the Lace wallet. And it makes sense because effectively, I'm pretty sure the way it worked, we had NAMI wallet. I loved NAMI. I mean, even when we launched the Murder of Crows back in the day, I would always tell everybody, use the NAMI wallet because it's the one that has the least problems. And then it looks like, IOHK and Lace took NAMI over, and they've made Lace wallet so much better and so much more powerful. And, basically working, all the IOHK folks have been basically trying to make this the number one wallet in the market. And one of the ways they're doing that is by making sure that you're going to need it in order to be able to generate your dust and to use it for stuff. So if you are excited about the midnight airdrop, I've also learned that the midnight airdrop, the ratio has come out, and I think it's been confirmed that you're going to get about, I think it's 0.41, if I'm not mistaken, 0.41 night tokens for every ADA. Okay. So if you had, a million ADA, you'll get probably, I think it was somewhere around 345 or 349 thousand night tokens. And the value of those tokens obviously is, Charles said something to the effect of night or midnight being like a $10 billion market capitalization. And at those numbers, the tokens themselves, the night tokens would be worth probably somewhere around 40 cents, I think, something to that effect. So we'll see. That'll be confirmed once it all happens. But this is a big deal, and everybody needs to understand this because even with this video out, unless you guys are out sharing it amongst the Cardano community, I'm obviously going to do my part. But we need to get this information out to everybody so that they're not sorely disappointed when they're trying to get these night tokens and they're doing all this stuff expecting to generate dust, and they're wondering, why is dust not happening? Where is it? What's going on? Because I guarantee you we're going to see it all over the place. You've got to use the Lace wallet in order to be effective with this. If you want to start generating dust, if you want to start taking part in that ecosystem, you're going to need to use Lace wallet. So Lace is the only wallet fully ready for the midnight ecosystem. And just so you know, my Crow node, Dave's already got that ready to go for midnight. He's actually had this ready for a while. We've just been waiting. So you're going to be able to get midnight and things on the Crow node, as I understand it. Enabling real usage beyond just claiming night. End-to-end midnight support from testnet to mainnet. Lace supports the full life cycle. Claim, transact, generate dust, interact with shielded tokens. It's the only wallet you're going to be able to do this stuff with, at least at launch. How long it takes the other wallets to be able to catch up and do what this is able to do, no, I don't know. But Lace is it for now, folks. Making sure you understand that. Exclusive dust access. No other wallet supports supports dust generation or use. Lace is the only gateway. Make sure you take part in that. A lot of people are going to be sorely disappointed when they find out later. So, we'll see. Built with real resources. While others talk about supporting Midnight, only Lace has actually built it with full testnet integration and roadmap support from IOG. Mainnet ready UX. Lace is positioned as the go-to wallet for unlocking Midnight's potential. Claim anywhere, use it on Lace. So this is updated timeline of everything that's been going on. Obviously, we're preparing for the Glacier airdrop that's going to be kicked off, as I've said, and I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed. This is all going to be announced at Rare Evo. Your redemption period begins in August. Night tokens begin unlocking and randomized fall events over 360 days. Scavenger mine phase. After the claim ends, users can earn unclaimed tokens via on-chain work. You've got lost and found. We've covered a lot of this already. Do's and don'ts compliance guide. Let's cover this real quick. And then I'm going to show you some leaks of what the Lace wallet is about to look like. I think it's sharp as hell. So do's, clearly explain Midnight selective disclosure. Oh, those are do's and don'ts for me, you guys. I'm already doing all that. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, as far as all of the details that are coming, I mean, we've pretty much covered everything. I don't think that there's any real, everybody's trying to calculate this, that, and another thing based off of what's been released, what's available. Nobody knows for sure. Nobody knows for sure what the price of Midnight's going to be. Nobody knows for sure any of those details. We'll know, because the thing of it is I don't think anybody's going to be able to sell any for a while, because even when you claim them, it's going to take time for those to come down the pipe into your wallets. And so it's all going to depend, man. I mean, and these are being dropped to so many different blockchains, and, the Bitcoin blockchain, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, AVAX, BNB, and Brave. So anybody that's using those and has it, I think it's like at least $100 worth of those tokens, you're going to get an airdrop, but you're going to need to use the Lace wallet to utilize anything related to Midnight. So that's that. And so because of this, there are going to be some users that are just like, I'm so tribal. I'm a part of this ecosystem. I don't care about Midnight. I don't care about this airdrop. And they're going to try and dump their tokens as soon as possible. And then there are others that are going to actually read the Midnight white paper and say, this is going to be the future. This is insane. I can't believe I'm getting these tokens for free. I'm not selling. And so once we kind of get a lot of that ironed out, then we're going to obviously know, what the value is actually going to be. Right now, everybody's basing the value of the tokens off of what Charles has claimed is going to be the valuation. So we'll have to wait and see. But check this out. These are leaked screenshots of the Lace wallet. And this is, you're seeing it. This is Bitcoin on the Lace wallet, folks. This is coming, and it looks slick. I like this. Let's see, screenshot 2. What to restore? You will be able to create or restore multi accounts of several different blockchains. But these are just the 3 options that they're showing. You've got your Midnight, your Bitcoin, and your Cardano. Folks, this is going to be the Lace wallet soon. This is nuts. And I love the way now, what you're seeing here, if you haven't figured it out yet, because I know that people have been asking and people have been knocking it, but this is the mobile version. This is the mobile version of the Lace wallet. It's coming, folks. And I'm pretty excited about it. Now, I don't do anything of significant value on my phones at all, because I have 4. And I still don't do anything of significant value because of security reasons and things. If you lose your phone, somebody swipes it, whatever. But this is sharp. And I will have a wallet on my phone. It's just, I'll only use it for things when absolutely necessary. That's just how I operate. A lot of people, and you know what? The same way I tell people, do not leave your Cardano, do not leave your assets on exchanges. People still do. People do whatever they want because it's easy. And I always tell people, the easier it is for you to access, it's just that easy for a hacker or somebody up to nefarious means, to get access to it as well. And so I intentionally make everything as difficult on myself as possible to access anything of significant importance to me. because it's just, I've been a victim of it. I know what happens, and I know how quickly and easily things can just go poof, and it scares the absolute shit out of me. I'm not going to lie. I mean, anytime I do any kind of major transaction, I shake. I shake because I'm always paranoid as hell. And so the more the more ridiculous things are for me to get access to, or to make transactions, or to do whatever I need to do, honestly, I feel a little bit better. Nothing is ever 100% secure, in my opinion, but it is what it is. But make sure you go to lace.io and download that wallet. And hell, while you're at it, once you get your Lace wallet, then you just go back and you prepare for the Wargram card mint. And I know, I mean, our goal has always been to try and generate at least 150,000 ADA so that we can finish this damn game and build out everything that we want to do, and then add all of the final touches to everything. Go into Wargram expecting it to be alpha, okay? And if you have those expectations, but you love what we're building, some of you have already play tested it and really liked what we've built so far. I've really liked it. Crypto Face has liked it. Crypto Face is a part of it behind the scenes, because he loves card games. And so, yeah, I mean, right now we appreciate your support. And, here in a couple days, you're going to be able to start minting booster packs and join the Discord community, so you can let us know if you find bugs, if things aren't working right, and we're going to get on it. And as sales climb for the cards, we already have about 240 cards ready to start being injected, right? But I told Eli, I'm telling everybody that's a part of this, I'm like, as long as the cards are playable at the time of mint, run with it. Let's go. Because that's my big thing. I don't want people to mint NFTs they can't use in the game right now. I just don't want any bullshit. I don't want any trouble. I don't want any problems. I just want everything to be 100% on the up and up. And it's not like anybody's trying to, but what if? But what if? I just want to make sure that everybody gets something. And when you're minting these cards, I want them to have more value to people than just whatever, like the secondary market pricing might be. There are going to be limited cards. There are going to be a lot of things that we're doing to make this really exciting for people. Once we get closer to the finish line, we are going to have tournaments. We're going to have things that I think people are really going to have fun with. But we got to start now. We got to start where we're at, and we want to get this thing done. And we want people that they're excited about a badass trading card game on the Cardano blockchain to start participating. And this is going to be your chance. So hopefully you guys have fun with it. And let's go ahead and check out comments real quick. I've been live about 37 minutes. There are almost 1,000 of you on. It's Monday morning. I have no idea what is happening with the price. Oh, thank God. Thank God we're getting a reversal. I was getting nervous, folks. But yeah, this is Bitcoin's price reversing here. Yes, I use BitUnix. And I want to try and I've got something coming I want to share with people that you guys are going to be able to join and get some cool bonuses and things. Hopefully we don't bounce off of this VWAP right now. I want to see us blow past this and go to the downside. I was in a short because I was just like, I'm going to let this ride. And then it was like negative $100. And I'm like, oh God, I just don't want to deal with this. I wanted to go live and I didn't want to have to monitor it. So I just went ahead and closed it. At this point, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to be very patient. I'm going to see where we end up over the next week. I mean, this is going to be a very interesting week, but if it may very well be that this 115,434 is the high. And then we may range up and down. I don't know. We'll have to see. But it's very telling where we're at. I want to look at liquidity real quick before, I don't know what's happening. It's loading a little slow. Not your keys, not your coins. That's right. All right. So liquidity starting to fill in here a little bit. It's running a little bit slow today. Order book heat map is it's kind of cycling in and it's loading in. Here we go. It's starting to populate. So yeah, we're all the way back down here. We got a big gap here in this. I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, I mean, it's working itself back down. So it just goes to show what I'm talking about at the very beginning of this video, and it could very well already be starting to play out. So yeah, and another tip for you folks, man. I mean, I would never do any significant cryptocurrency transactions on any computer that is like your daily user, because you just don't know what's sitting on that computer. You don't know if you've clicked a bad email, some sort of bad link. I don't do any crypto transactions that I like really care a lot about. I do them on computers that I do not browse the internet with. I do not check emails with them. I don't do anything but the transactions. That's it. So yeah, I mean, it's just, you got to keep yourself as safe as humanly possible. Yeah, I mean, the Lace wallet's looking sharp, man. And you know what? I've been using Lace for a lot of things lately, knowing what's coming, and they really have come a long way. Can I use Crow tokens on Wargram? Not yet. Not yet. Once we get things to because here's what you have to understand. As soon as we unlock some things that'll enable people to use Crow tokens, it's all going to be at an expense to me. I mean, literally, because it's just people are going to use them, but people are less likely to be buying them initially. So it's all just going to be used. People are going to get a bunch of cool stuff, but it's essentially going to end up costing us money until there's really an established market. And I don't have a market maker for Crow tokens. Literally everything that happens with those Crow tokens is retail. So I don't have a market maker. I don't have any of that stuff set up. So I can't make the market. I can't control anything. And so I do have plans. We do plan on doing some stuff with the Crow tokens, but we need to be at a more comfortable position to be able to do that, because we already have ideas. We already have things that we want to do. Even down to like some decorative things you can do where you can buy this, that, and, have them located on your board. And so, yeah, there are things that we're working on, but the first thing I want to do is I want to get all the development for these, initial 240 cards done, and get them out there, get people playing, start building that community. And then we'll unlock and release some things that utilize the Crow tokens as well in the future. So that's that. I don't want this video to be too long. I want everybody to see it. I want everybody to enjoy it and get something out of it. Thank you, Lace.io, for your sponsorship. Also, make sure you're checking out the Flux Indicator. There's a link down here in the description below. Make sure you check it out. It is a very solid indicator suite, and I actually get a lot out of it. And I use it more than anything as like confirmation for things that I suspect are happening. And typically the Flux charts tell me. It paints a lot of the fair value gaps. It paints so much stuff for me, so it takes my guesswork out of the game, and it allows me to really function at a pretty high level, and really gives me confluence to things that I'm suspecting already. And it'll say bing, and that'll pop up. I'm like, yep, that's what I thought. All right, I'm running with it, and it's been treating me very well. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Until next time, crow your coins. Wargram.io airdrop or airdrop, no airdrop, but minting is coming here in just a couple days, and I look forward to seeing the community grow and everybody getting excited. Until next time, crow your coins. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.